Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Today, we're back with author, speaker, and founder of Brighter Day Press, Whitney Newby. Hey, Whitney, welcome back.
Thank you so much. Glad to be back.
Glad to have you back. And today, I want to talk to you about reviews and endorsements. So, Whitney, how early in the publishing process should an author begin seeking reviews or endorsements? And what's the best way to approach people?
I was a little bit nervous about this part of the process, especially with endorsements, because it was my first book and it felt really important that I had some endorsements so that people who had no idea who I was would maybe recognize some endorsements and be willing to take a look at the book. And so I approached people before I even finished writing the book and said, here's what I'm working on. Would this be something you would consider taking a look at with no pressure to actually endorse? I want you to read it once it's finished. And if you feel comfortable giving an endorsement, I would be honored by that. If not, I completely understand. And sometimes, honestly, like when I've been asked to give endorsements, sometimes it's just not a great time in your life to do that because it is a huge commitment to I'm committed to reading every word of a book that I would endorse because I don't want there to be anything hidden that I would really not agree with. And so anyway, just kind of laying it out there. And I would also just say, if possible at all, go for your friends, your actual friends in real life, and not like reaching for the stars with some random person. If you don't have that, you may have to do a little bit of reaching, but I think starting with people that actually know you and believe in your work is a great place to start.
I want to know how you secured such powerful endorsements from acquaintances and friends and fellow authors. And what advice would you give to authors looking for really meaningful endorsements, kind of beyond?
Yeah.
That was a great devotional.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing because a lot of these endorsements someone will write even more than they're able to include in the book. And so there's just a little snippet that the publisher chooses. But again, I think finding people that you actually know. And so over the last 5 to 10 years, these are all people. All of my endorsements are actual real life friends. And so I've been able to, support them in their ministries and businesses as well over the last few years. And so this wasn't this huge ask because they knew I was writing a book. They wanted to support me. And so the foreword was written by Sally Clarkson, who is a prolific author. I think she's written 33 books, and she is way beyond where I can even imagine going in publishing. But I did feel like, even though I knew her, and, I thought that she would be maybe willing to write the foreword, which is a huge endorsement because her name is on the front cover. I was still a little bit nervous about asking, but she was more than happy to do it. And what's been amazing is when we have these books out at homeschool conferences or places where I am, some people will pass by and they'll look at the front cover and say, well, I don't know who you are, but I know who Sally Clarkson is. And I know they flip to the back and see Francesca Battistelli and they're like, I know who she is. So it's probably good and I'll buy it. And so it really does matter if you're able to secure an endorsement that people recognize and is in kind of your same sphere of influence. That can be a really big win for your book.
That's a great point, sphere of influence.
Mm-hmm.
What do you look for in someone when considering them to review or endorse your work?
I look for, do our lives and beliefs and ministries kind of align with each other? Because we need to be in the same camp theologically, and just we need to be like-minded to be endorsing each other's work. But I also look for, what if, certain people that endorse this book have a different audience. And so, for example, my friend Crystal Payne, she and I are so like-minded and we're good friends, but her audience is very different from mine because her platform is the money saving mom. And so that could potentially introduce this book to a whole new audience as well. So I think it's good to kind of stay in your little circle, but branch out just a little bit while also maintaining those same beliefs and values.
That is a very good point because you all have in common that you're moms. Maybe there's a mom
Yes.
writing about children on the spectrum. Maybe there's a mom
Yes.
writing about homeschooling. Maybe there's a mom writing about keeping your house clean in an efficient,
Totally.
effective way. And
Totally.
then a faith-based mom, so you guys all have that one commonality. And so that's a great idea to connect with people that have a similar but slightly different audience.
Yes.
Now, Whitney, do you find that reviews from readers on Amazon or social media impact your book's visibility or success significantly?
They definitely affect the book's visibility, especially on Amazon. And yet, I want to be authentic in soliciting reviews. I've seen so many who have said, "Oh, we'll enter you for this huge giveaway if you review our book." And it kind of, yes, it inflates the reviews, but ultimately, I want these reviews to be from an authentic place. And I don't know, that just feels like integrity to me. And so I do ask every once in a while, hey, if you have enjoyed this, if this has ministered to you or encouraged you in your walk as a mom, would you take 5 minutes and just review it wherever you purchase the book? That really helps it to be seen. And that's really all it takes. But ultimately, I think the content is what is going to outlast even reviews because, people will review it. And of course, we're all reading reviews on everything that we purchase these days. So they are important. But ultimately, what means even more than a review on Amazon is when someone writes to me and says, I loved this so much that I just bought 10 more copies for all of my friends. And so those really authentic reviews. And I don't know, some authors may disagree with me on that, like, and say no, reviews are of the utmost importance. But I think ultimately the content is what is going to outlast even that.
Well, they are of the utmost importance, but it's like you said, maybe it's quality over quantity.
Yes.
You could read a
Yes.
hundred okay reviews, but two great ones for a book and say, "Oh, that person really liked that. I'm gonna get
Yes.
it."
Exactly. I
Yeah.
also think it's hard to tell from the number of reviews actually how much the book has sold because it's such a small fraction of people that actually come back to leave reviews. And so don't be, if you look at a book that maybe only has 5 reviews, but they are glowing reviews, give it a chance because you never know what their circumstance is that they may not have more reviews registered. So
Exactly. Well, Whitney, this has been so insightful. I just want to close with, what would you say are the different ways authors can use reviews to build their brand and sell their books?
I think even just posting a couple of reviews on social media and saying, especially the really insightful or really, kind of life-changing reviews, doing that or for your email list. I mean, all of that can lend more visibility for your book. Or maybe someone reads a review and they're like, that's me. They see themselves in that review and that's what I need from a book. They may connect that way. So, yeah, don't be shy about, offering those reviews on your social media.
Well, thank you so much, Whitney. That was wonderful insight on reviews and endorsements.
Thanks so much for having me.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's interview with author, speaker, and founder of Brighter Day Press, Whitney Newby. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.